name's Georgia.
And I'm Corey. And we're
baking
baking buddies.
We're
best friends.
And we're new YouTubers, as you can say.
And we love to bake like all the time. And we always create new and cool recipes that we come up with.
So we're going to share them with you today.
So, today we are making
caramel infused
chocolate ganache
pecan
cupcakes.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Also known as PMS controllers.
Or
killers,
stoppers or
begunners. PMS
Yep.
begunners. Something like that,
so,
yeah.
Anyway, so let's start with
the
cupcakes.
Yeah.
First, we got to preheat the oven. So, let's get that going.
Let's preheat them.
So, we're going to preheat this to 350 degrees. I didn't do that right. You got to preheat the oven.
Okay.
It's an oven. I don't know what to do with it.
How does this work? Okay.
Bake.
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 350. So,
Okay,
bake it at
sorry, we got it.
degrees. We got this. Okay, so
All right.
first we are going to sift together the dry ingredients.
Because usually you have a bowl of dry ingredients
And
and,
then
a bowl of wet
ingredients.
in pretty much every recipe.
Yeah.
So let's start with 1 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour.
We sift that. And then we'll need 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda.
And you can just add it all pretty much at once and keep on sifting. It'll work fine.
And then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Baking powder. Add that in.
3/4 a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder.
That's the chocolatey goodness.
That's what makes a chocolate cupcake a chocolate cupcake. Okay. And then,
A pinch of salt.
yeah,
It's
just
an eighth a teaspoon, but
but that's too exact for us, so we'll just shake a little.
we're hippies.
There we go. Okay, so now,
Sifting this.
sifting.
Still sifting. You could just use like a pasta strainer.
It doesn't really matter.
Just something with small holes to get the lumps out. It just makes the batter creamier.
Yeah, I have one kind of sifter where you just turn it in and it sifts. So it doesn't really matter what you do as long as it blends it all together pretty good.
Okay, now when that's done, you just want to set that aside.
Okay,
And then
so
in another
now,
bowl,
as always,
the wet ingredients.
we are going to beat the butter and the sugar together first. So this is 1.5 cups of white granulated sugar.
A lot of sugar.
Lots.
And then we need 3 tablespoons of butter somehow.
Do you want me to soften it, or is it softened?
Softened butter. If
Our butter isn't
enough.
so soft.
It's good.
There we go.
And then we just want to beat this till creamy. So we've beaten this butter and sugar.
Obviously, it's not quite as creamy as most recipes get because
There
there
was
was
a
a whole
lot-
lot more
Yeah,
sugar.
then there was butter. So this is what it's going to look like.
It might not be so creamy.
Yeah.
But now,
It's good enough.
once we add the wet ingredients, it'll be better. So we need to add 2 eggs,
Yolks and whites.
of course,
And then, how much vanilla was this again?
3/4
teaspoon.
of vanilla extract.
We don't quite have the recipe memorized, but
Okay, so now we're going to go over
and
and
beat this till
up.
creamy.
Okay, so now we beat in all the eggs and the vanilla, and it's looking pretty creamy.
Yeah.
So
It smells pretty good too.
now it's time to beat together the dry mixture that we made earlier, and this is 1 cup of milk. You can use whole milk, 2%, skim,
Whatever you have in your fridge.
soy, doesn't matter. Okay.
So now we're gonna alternately add this in. Like first we're gonna add in half the milk, then half of this, and then half the milk, and then half of that.
Back and forth. So now we alternately mix the milk and the flour mixture.
And it looks awesome and creamy.
Delicious, chocolatey. So now we're gonna fill up some muffin tins.
Yeah.
It makes about 16 cupcakes, but
We
we're
filled
just
up.
gonna make 12.
Yes, we just filled up 12 muffin tins with any kind of letters you have.
And you know, if they're a little bit overfilled, it's always okay to have a really big cupcake.
It makes them better.
So-
But you want to probably fill them about 3/4 full. So we filled these muffin tins about 3/4 full, and we had quite a bit extra, so we just put it on top so they can be extra big cupcakes. So the oven is preheated to 350, so we're just going to put these on the middle rack of the oven. And they cook for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how full they are. But at about 15 minutes, I stick a knife in them and see if it comes out clean, then they're ready. So now we're gonna work on the
caramel
injection stuff. Yeah.
infusion, delicious magicness. Okay.
So first we are going to need just a small heavy saucepan, and we're gonna need these
A bunch of these
Werther's
original
candies.
caramel candies.
They're like little chewy caramel candies, and you need about 20 of them. So we're gonna
This
unwrap.
might take a couple minutes.
Yeah. So you just unwrap these candies.
And just keep putting them in the pot, you know.
So we unwrapped about 20 caramel candies, and you just put them on the bottom of this little pot. And then we want to put it on the smallest burner you have on the lowest setting, because if it burns, it really smells and it smokes everywhere.
And it's not going to taste so good.
Yeah.
So
So I'm putting it on the smallest burner I have.
putting it on like a medium heat.
Like a medium low, just so it doesn't burn too much. And it only takes like 2 minutes for this stuff to melt, but you want to keep on stirring it. So you need like a little wooden spoon. Aha, here it is. So you just keep stirring it, and it slowly melts on the bottom. And yeah.
Okay, so these are all melted now, and I took them off the heat because I didn't want it to burn. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of milk to this mixture. Okay, so I added 1 tablespoon, and then you can stir it in and eyeball it, and if you need it to be a little bit more liquidy, then you can put some more butter.
So we finished the caramel, and it's really hot, so we've been letting it cool.
Okay.
Well, we've been letting it cool down, and it's like the perfect consistency when it falls off the spoon. It's
Look at that deliciousness.
It's so delicious, and we only needed 1 tablespoon of milk.
That was plenty.
Yeah, so we just let this sit in the pot, and you want to, every once in a while, you probably should put it on a low heat just for like 30 seconds, because
And stir it a little, because you know how milk makes that little film on everything? We don't want that to happen.
Yeah, so you
just
just
keep stirring it, put it on heat for a little
every
bit.
once in a while.
If it takes you a while to finish the rest of the recipe.
Yeah. So we're gonna set this aside, and now we're gonna start the best part, the whole recipe.
Oh,
The cupcakes are done.
oh my.
Okay.
The cupcakes are not done.
They're not done.
So they're going to need,
I'm
this
gonna
will
put
be like 25 minutes now, because
We made them huge. They're
They're
humongous. They're like this big. So we're gonna put them in for 5
So
minutes.
we recommend not using all of the batter for 12 cupcakes.
We're crazy.
Make the 16 cupcakes with the batter, because
Yeah.
they rise really big. Okay.
So we're gonna start this chocolate ganache.
Yeah.
Hold on. Alright,
Hold
Alright, let's mess up.
Okay, we're good.
So we're
Okay.
gonna start this chocolate ganache. We don't have another small pan, but you should use a small heavy saucepan again for this
Yeah.
chocolate ganache. But we're just gonna use this because it's the only thing I have.
So, we take the
First,
milk.
you want to take 1/4 cup of milk, and you want to pour it in the pot. And you just want to put it on like a low heat so that it starts boiling, because it's so little bit of milk.
Probably a high heat. If you wanted to go faster, a high heat.
Yeah, but I'm gonna put it on medium because in this pot it spreads out like it's like this thin. So
Yeah.
we want to make sure that this doesn't burn.
So once that starts boiling, the only other steps that you have to do are super simple. You just take, let's see,
1 cup of chocolate chips,
and 2 tablespoons of butter. We use semi-sweet chocolate chips.
because
You
we're
can
dark
use-
chocolate fans.
Yes, we can use dark chocolate. You can use milk chocolate. You know,
Anything
baking
you want.
chocolate, anything you want. Whatever you think tastes the most ganache-ish.
Yeah. So once this gets to a good heat, okay, this is starting to boil
It's
already.
starting to boil a little bit. That was pretty quick. We'll let it boil a little bit more, but don't let it get too boily, or it will
Get the little,
overflow
yeah.
and get that gross, nasty film.
So you just want to take a teeny little bowl, just a teeny little metal bowl,
We're gonna dump the butter.
and the chocolate chips in.
Yep.
About half the chocolate chips because it makes it creamier.
Yep.
Okay, and then this milk
Mix
is
it
done.
down.
You You turn the heat off the
Turn the heat
milk,
off.
and then you just dump it right into the bowl.
Then we'll take a spoon. Do you have a spoon?
Yeah, the metal spoons. And so it'll just be looking like that.
So now, let's take this over here.
And the butter will
break
melt.
up the butter a little so that it gets
Melted.
everywhere. You don't want a big chunk of butter in your ganache, obviously. So now, you just spread that around. This makes a very thick ganache. So that way, when you put it on the cupcakes, it stays on the cupcakes.
Yeah,
Because we've had a ganache disaster before.
So you just mix this in, and it'll be really liquidy because we only put half of them in. Because it takes a little while for these chocolate chips to melt in.
The last time, it was way too liquidy, and it wouldn't stay on our cupcakes no matter how much we refrigerated it. We froze the ganache for a while, but it didn't work.
So
The only solution is
add
more chocolate.
chips.
And
So-
what's wrong with that? Nothing.
So we put the rest of these chocolate chips in. They've kind of melted on here because they're next to the stove. Okay. And then the milk may have cooled down because you've been stirring it for the first batch. So
If it did, you can put it back on the heat.
yeah, put it back on the heat. So we're probably gonna have to because it's starting to cool down.
See, it's a little bit chunky.
You can
so
still see the chocolate
we're
chips.
gonna put it back on the heat for a couple seconds. Just make sure that you get all of the chocolate.
You can never waste chocolate.
Never. And that is what is going to thicken it up. So make sure that you have all the chocolate.
And just put it back on a low heat and just keep stirring it until the chocolate chips are completely melted.